Okay guys, we're going to go through some of my basic suggestions for working with Premiere and try to redo this first video. Number one, we're going to do a sample project. I'm going to try to get you guys to understand that Premiere is really a lot like Photoshop in that you can really combine up to 99 different layers or tracks and do a lot of the effects that you're used to for Photoshop, and hopefully we'll develop a feel for your movies that kind of have that Photoshop sense of photography and style, and we're going to try to do a lot of the same ideas because a lot of those do translate pretty well over. One thing I want to do too, which is a good suggestion, whenever you want to make a new project, we're just going to do some demonstrations. I built a sample project folder, and I put all the files that I wanted to kind of play around with inside here. I'm just going to use some JPEGs off of my website and just kind of do the basics. But you can imagine video clips are, we'll obviously have to talk about that as well, but a lot of the stuff we can kind of take a peek at and get the basic ideas just using still pictures. JPEGs would be fine. So, and then I wanted to also get a Photoshop file, but I'll start off with just some JPEGs, show you how to import stuff and a few of the basics. All right, so number one, you can import a couple different ways. In Premiere, you've got an import option, and that's a pretty common route to go. Just drive to the folder you want to go to and hit import for any kind of video clips or any kind of files you create. I'm going to go ahead and take a series of these guys here, some different images I pulled off my website, and just drag and drop them in there. So same kind of story, but it's you got to get them into what's called your project window for your project, and then we can start to slide them into your timeline in what's known as a sequence. So you'll build your sequence, and that's part of your project, and we'll try to get into more of those concepts later. But number one, let's just keep it kind of simple. And take a look at what we got. If you double click on any of your video clips, it should pop up in a little source viewer, and you can kind of see what you've got going on. So you get one view to kind of check out stuff, and on the right hand side you're going to get to see what your video is looking like, your kind of composite your project is going to work into. So I'm going to take either direction. Pretty sure you can drag and drop this guy down here normally into one of the various video tracks. So you have video and audio tracks. This is just going to be obviously just a straight video track. I'm going to go ahead and drop it off there. And let me take a peek at how long this thing lasted. It looks like duration pretty long. Let me shorten that down so it's kind of in a time frame we can kind of work with a little bit here. So it looks like we're dealing with about 1 second, 2 seconds there. All right, let's stretch that a little bit more. So maybe I think in most cases your scenes and your images, probably keep around 4 seconds. That's probably a good number. The faster you do stuff, the more energy it has. You need to give people time to read stuff, things like that. But for the most part, if you're just presenting information, and specifically like photos and things like that, I would just try to keep it around 4 or 5 seconds max. And then we're going to try to do a few things with these couple of images that we just put in here to kind of try to do some Photoshop type things, but over time. Very similar to what you did probably with Flash. And then also some of you guys that are doing animations in Photoshop, some of the same kind of ideas where you can fade things out, you can fade things in, and you can kind of see what we've got here. Let me slide this window over a little bit and kind of get a better view. But this is the current project I have. I've got a kind of a layers window kind of set up, and you'll be able to kind of tell. You can toggle an eyeball on or off depending on what layer you're looking at. So I've got a multi-layer file here. So pretty similar to Photoshop. If you click on this guy, same thing in Photoshop. You've got a bounding box. All your same rules apply as far as holding the shift key, making a free transform kind of idea. A lot of similarities to what you did in Photoshop. So keep that in mind. You will, once you hit return, that'll render your process, and then you can go on to the next idea. But so far, you can kind of tell we're going to have a lot of similarities between what you already know how to do. So I'm going to stop this one, and we're going to pick up on the next idea of how to add transitions and also control the opacity and movement of your objects over time. Pretty similar to what you've already kind of learned how to do.